when it comes to cross-border payments, can you reflect a little for us on the trends you're seeing and how businesses are managing payments and FX exposure?
Yeah, I think this year, in particular, given the tariff announcement and then all the volatility you saw after that, it really has caused people to I think take a step back and reflect, like, how are we? Am I protected? Do I need to be more protected? Where am I comfortable letting it ride, so to speak, and where do I really want to have certainty? And so that's a place where we've really seen business growth this year. Certainly in people, trying to lock in, if you've got, cash flows out into the future, both your own or your receiving cash flows, you want certainty of what you're going to get, especially in this period of time where, certainly for smaller businesses where you've seen inflationary pressures eroding margins. That certainty of cash either going out or coming in is really important. And so you've seen companies being more interested in trying to lock that in. It could just be against a budget rate because that's what they forecasted against, and that's what they know they need to try to hit. I was in Australia a few weeks ago, and was meeting with a customer, and when things kind of, it's a private business, and the board is a largely like family board, and they're generally very conservative about using FX products, and that's the approach they've taken from a risk appetite perspective, which is fine. But when currencies moved in the spring, they kind of missed out on a couple $100,000 opportunity, or they lost a couple $100,000 relative to some of the cash they were expecting. And so the conversation we had with them was, look, I don't think anybody believes the world's going to get less volatile, in the next year or two. We hope peace and all those things, but just given the geopolitical dynamics and the questions around, central banks and all of the things in the world right now that make it messy, volatility is likely to continue. And so in the future, how can we make sure that you are protected and you don't miss out on that chance to protect the business? And so, people might, in that situation, you might put in place, an option or a forward that's very simple and straightforward. But if currencies hit a certain threshold, they'll trip, and you're protected at a certain level, and again gives that company certainty that they're covered there. And so, one of the things that we hear when we talk to customers is, look, we want it to work, and we don't want to have to think about it. And so, we have these conversations to help people, put things in place or set plans that they can take confidence in, and then focus on the things they want to focus on, whether it's driving their business or growth or whatever.